How's that?
That's good.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
What's up,
Welcome
sugar?
to Cawfee Talk. I'll start that again. Welcome to Cawfee Talk, everyone. This is episode 10. I thought it was 9, Chief. It is 10. Yes. Can you believe it? Welcome to our Keeping It Real conversation on Saturday. Today we got bumped up a little bit on time, but here we are, all gathered. Share this out with our friends and make sure they get in here so we can have our real conversation. How you doing, Chief?
I'm doing all right. Woke up with a bit of a headache this morning. I've been fighting off, but starting to get the coffee, and I think that's going to help out.
Well, this is what I'm going to say to you. I got a coffee, and I'm putting a big smiley face on it because this is what's kept me going this morning. I was on the run this morning. I had a lot to do. But here we are, doing the things we need to do. So we are kicking off episode 10. If you're just joining us, this is episode 10 with Sunny and Chief, keeping it real every Saturday morning. Our regular time is 10 a.m. Eastern time. So I wanted to do a quick recap on last night's live, which was our Veterans Night, which I thought was really successful. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a really good live last night. It stayed really positive. We made a lot of new friends. A lot of new folks came in. Yeah, it was really upbeat. I liked it. A lot of good support in there last night.
Awesome. I felt the same way. I really did. It's always nice when we can start seeing new faces come in and embrace the Sunnyside family, and especially on Veterans Night for our veterans. It's like getting out there and ensuring that they're finding us, because we really have an amazing support system, I think, on Veterans Night. So that made me really happy. What I caught was a good live, yeah. So if you're just joining us, welcome to Cawfee Talk. So we just kind of recapped a little bit of last night's Veterans Live, which happens every Friday night on the sunny side of freedom, which is me, on the platform. And it was a great live. I felt extremely good coming off of that live. And I did want to take a little bit away. I know you saw my video this morning, the planktivity as you know it, every day. I think we're on day 244. I counted. Day 244 of planking every day.
Dang, you started the planking before I started the push-ups then, because I think today I'm on day 243.
Maybe a day before, because you immediately caught on to that and immediately matched that energy and started duetting the plank. So I always will appreciate that, because you definitely took that message home and reinforced it, like, hey guys, pay attention. This isn't just a plank. And that's something we've talked about. It's not just the plank. It's the messaging. It's taking time for oneself, which we refer to as a mindful moment. And it's so important to do. And I actually wanted to take a little bit of the messaging I incorporated into my plank this morning in today's Cawfee Talk, which is, we'll start with getting outside your comfort zone and making it count and what that looks like. Do you want to kick it off?
Absolutely. That's one of my favorite topics. It's something that when I'm talking with folks, or I'm helping people through a situation, I'll tell them to just lean into the unknown a little bit. And the best analogy that I can really give for this is one that I practice with my kids. One night I asked my daughter what her favorite candy bar was, and she told me, and I said, "Are you sure?" And so what I did was I got all the fun size candy bars that I had, like I had the variety packs, and I chopped each of them up in half, and we ate each one. And it was shocking to find out that what we thought was our favorite candy bars weren't really. We had to try them all, back to back to back, and find out what we actually really liked. And I think that in life, it's kind of the same things. It's with the people in our life, with the hobbies, with the way that we spend our time. I think that we get accustomed to certain people that are around us that we had gone to school with or church with, or family friends. And a lot of times we don't explore out to find new hobbies, new groups of people. And you don't really know what you like until you try things. I know there's been tons of things in life that I didn't do because I was like, I don't think I'll like that. And it's not until you actually try it that you realize, you know what, this does something for me.
Yeah. Anytime we have to grow, I'm just going to say that. Anytime you have to grow in life, it's going to require change. Requiring change and accepting change is so hard because there's an element of fear, and I'm going to call it. There's an element of the unknown. Well, I know where I am right now, and if I change it, I don't know. And the truth is, yeah, if it's not broken, well, you got to fix it. But that should not apply to life, because in life, you have to grow. You just do, guys. You know, just like you're aging, you're changing. Every circumstance in your life is changing. I'm a mother forever, right? But what I had to do before is so different than what I'm doing now with my kids. Again, I had to embrace the change. I had to embrace the milestones and the changes and the hormones that come with those milestones. I'll leave it there. So why wouldn't we expect to challenge ourselves, which is so much of what I messaged like throughout this entire week, which is like faith over fear. Fear is your obstacle in anything and everything you're trying to do, whether it's advance in a career, make a career change, a lifestyle change, a relationship change. We're always, I don't know why, but it comes in. Fear is there, knocking at the door saying, no, you can't do it. Just stay where you are, you know? And we're always going to encourage you, no, get outside that comfort zone. What's it going to do, really? Other than allow you to understand what it is that you need or want in life. So what are your thoughts on that?
I agree. I agree with you 100%. I don't
Okay.
know what you're looking for me to say there. I have a lot to say, but I want to go off of what you've got on mind.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we find ourselves struggling. Oh, can I do this? Will this be for me? Sometimes you have to make changes, and those changes may not be the changes you foresaw for yourself, and you have to compromise. You have to compromise some things, and you have to do the pros and the cons. Well, if I say I don't necessarily need this, I want this, and that's really the bottom line. Do I need this? Do I want this? Do you want to get healthy? Do you know what I mean? Do you need to get healthy? Do you need to make specific changes? Like if you're struggling with depression and you've been doing the same damn thing every single day and you see no improvement, you have to embrace that. Accept it, embrace it, but don't allow it to control you. You have to make the necessary changes, but it's going to require work, and no one can do it for you but you. And although you may have supports, like I have supports, you have supports, we have supports here on this platform, friendships. They're going to support you. They're going to give you the motivation, inspiration, maybe the right words, the listening ear. But at the end of the day, neither I nor Chief can walk it for you. That's your journey.
Absolutely. You touched on a lot of good things. The biggest one that I talk about all the time is if you want to see change, you have to make the change. If you wake up and repeat the same patterns every single day, you can expect the same results every single day.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean make a huge change or make all the changes overnight. You just start with little things, little changes, and people will notice that. And it is hard and it's scary because when these people that have been in your life for a long time start to see that change, a lot of times that unsettles them because they feel like they know you, they like you are, and now you're acting different. Maybe you stop drinking or something like that, and they don't, that's what you guys do together, so now you can't hang out. Or maybe it's with your children, maybe you're putting down the law and you're going to start enforcing rules with consequences, and your kids are certainly not going to like that. But that's how you make the improvement. You have to implement the change, and you have to be consistent with that change, especially with your job. If you're wanting a new job and you're performing at that next level, you can't expect to get the new promotion or a new job if you just did it one day. You have to demonstrate that consistently and build that as your brand. And
Yeah.
you won't know what that is until you start doing things. You start trying new things. You start talking differently. Like I told my employees when I was an IT manager, it's not just you dress the part for a promotion or a job. You have to be the part every day, and people will start talking about it. And if those positions come open or you write that position for yourself, everyone's already going to think of you because you've been doing it. And it's like that with all of the aspects of leaning into the unknown or trying something new. You be consistent with it and don't get too attached, because if there is failure there, that's fine. You just learned, you know what, maybe I'm not comfortable with this, and you can avoid that and try something else.
Absolutely. You touched on a lot of important things there. When you're talking about work, one of the things my I'll call him leader because he really is a leader. I would say his leader is a boss, but he is a leader. And I say that because he's very supportive and he listens and he's always honestly trying to get there with us and not necessarily give direct orders. But one of the things he always shares with me is, you're so positive. You're the most positive person I have on this team. And my response is always, it takes practice. I've been asked multiple times on this application. I actually think I put it on my video, one of my videos yesterday. Sunny, how do you do it? Where do you find your faith? Where do you get your hope? Where do you get that smile? Where do you get that energy? I want your energy. If only I had your energy. Well, the simple answer is I practice. And it took me many years to get here. It didn't happen overnight, which is what you were touching base on. And you also touched base on being yourself, which is that individuality, guys. I think in society, we're going to go back to Facebook. We're so used to seeing what something should look like that I think too many years of our lives, we're aspiring. Well, I want that house. I want the white picket fence. I want us to look like that on a picture. You lose your identity. And your identity is what defines you. People know me for Sunny. I mean, I have a name, but on this platform, they know me for me. There's not another one like me. There's going to be a lot of wonderful people. We've met them, amazing smiles and energy. But at the end of the day, you should have your own identity, individuality. What makes you special? I don't want to be you, and you shouldn't want to be me. You should want to take bits and pieces and be like, I really love that motivation. I'm going to work towards that. That's not what I'm referring to. Being able to say, Sunny, that's her. She's always this. She always says that. Or Chief, I always say, his chief moments or his humor. There's so many different things that define us as people. And I think we get lost in that sometimes when we're struggling and we're going through the healing journey, that discovery. I put that in my video today. Rediscover yourself. You are not the person you were 10, 20 years ago. You may have bits and pieces of that, but you're not that person, I reassure you. So stop trying to live there and be where you are. We often want people to meet us where we are, which is referring to the family and acceptance. And some may, and some really won't. Some will truly, genuinely love the fact that you're growing and accept and embrace the journey with you, and others will just judge you. Well, guess what, guys? Family or not, to the side. Doesn't mean you stop loving them. It doesn't mean the relationship's broken. It just means that you're not helping fill my cup. So I have to, for my own mental health, I have to put you in this category. I have to put you in, moved over to this bubble because it's no longer serving me or adding value to my growth.
Yes. And that's very difficult too, because a lot of people don't know who they are. It took me a lot of years to figure that out. And because we care so much about our perception of what other people think. And, that stems from just our ancestry, probably. I know with my parents, it was that way in certain areas, but getting out and trying your passions, or remembering, throughout your life, you've had all these experiences, you've had your ups and your downs. What were those passions, those things that you did that gave you that feeling that you just, you were flowing, you were in that flow state, excited about doing it to where it was like play. And that does look different for all of us. I know myself, if I said, you know what, I really like the way Sunnyside's always smiling and sharing positivity, maybe I should do that. Well, I have to do that my way. I can use my funny smile. I'm not going to go and I'm not going to say, stay sunny, stay spicy and make it count. That would be like, people would be like, that's not you. I like your message, but be original, be your genuine self. And sometimes that can be a little weird. It can definitely feel strange. And people are going to question that. And if they don't, then I think you might be doing it wrong, really, to be honest, because if it's a copy or a clone, someone else is already doing that. If I sat here and I tried to be Joe Rogan, I would go nowhere because Joe Rogan exists. I do things that interest me, that make me happy. And a lot of the time, people don't necessarily understand that. And that's okay. That's okay too. If they're worth the energy, I'll take the time to explain it. But if it's criticism, then I don't have to. I don't have to accept that criticism, and I can understand that, they've got their own tribe, probably they've got their own perceptions and their own identity that they want to uphold. I have mine, which is very individual. And I think that we all are very special. We all have unique skills, passions, hobbies, and it's very interesting. And those skills, hobbies, passions, interests can help other people. They really can. And I see a lot of time, like Sourpuss said, misunderstood. If I had one superpower, I've heard someone say this before, it would be to not even care about being understood, because no one can understand. They might understand what you're doing, or they'll understand the words that you're speaking, but they haven't lived your life. They don't know how you feel about certain things. They don't know your passion, your interests, your service. So it's not as much about being understood as it is just not caring and being your authentic self. And when you are truly authentically yourself, that will interest people and they will gravitate to you.
Yeah, and based on, your own personal experiences, like you said, we all have our own journey, our own story. I'm going to react differently than Chief is going to react. But caring so much about what people say is not helping you grow. It's just not. They have their own work to do. They have their own life to live. But too often, people would rather focus on your life than work on theirs. It's just easier. It's easier to sit there and say, well, if they did this and if they did that, hello, you have your own life to worry about. And there's some truth there. And the only way, honestly, you put an end to it, which is what you said, is like, cut it off. Just keep it moving, guys. Keep it moving, because your focus should be yourself. And those, like I said, that are truly invested in you and your personal growth and want to see you honestly happy from the inside out, they're going to stand beside you. That's what matters most. And too often we get caught up. I know for myself, culturally speaking, whatever, it's like, well, that's family. I'm like, and you know what I mean? Family, define family. That's another topic and a whole coffee talk just on family, which we won't get into. But I also want to remind all of you, as you're going through this journey, and I see so many of you going through it, you're either at the beginning stages or coming to the realization that you have work to do, and where you've maybe fallen short in the last few years, and it happens to all of us. I was stagnant. I just was. I just kept doing the same thing over and over and over, because that's what I thought my role was in this world. Get up, go to work, clean the house, do this, bring the kids, soccer practice. I wasn't doing anything that was helping me grow other than just be a nurturer, an employee. I had titles, all these titles, but I wasn't truly tapping into what made me special, my own personal individuality, which helps me just shine, which is so much of what you guys are seeing come across this screen. And we have some friends who'll be like, guys, she really is this person. Chief knows I am this person in real life. And for some, that's difficult to believe, but that's because I've been putting in the work and ensuring that I know how to fill my cup. Do I know how to take a mindful moment? Do I know how to stop and breathe? How do I decompress? How do I grow, continuously grow? And some days, guys, I'm still human. We're going to have funk. We're going to have challenges. We're going to be hit upside the head some days with things that I wasn't expecting. It's going to derail me. And I have to fight like hell, just like the rest of you, to get my headspace in the right place. Because anytime we talk about traumas, yes, traumas will always be there, right? And things can trigger you. But hopefully during the healing journey, you have developed a way in which you can turn those moments and say, okay, I know what I need to do. Back then, I would either yell, I would scream. Now I walk away. That's my change. I talk to my daughter about this all the time. I'm like, do you realize it's been several years that you don't hear me yell? I have literally taught myself that my energy needs to be preserved to do good things with my day versus yelling, which accomplishes absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'll still drop F-bombs though once in a while. I'm just like, I'm human.
It's always funny to hear you drop an F bomb, but it's no different than raising children. I tell my kids all of the time, like they'll run and tattletale on each other or whatever, and it's like, you wouldn't be in trouble if you were just worrying about yourself. Like there's always an overreaction or somebody's trying to correct other people. and that doesn't work. Like if you just worry about you, focus on you, and that's where all the change occurs. When you start to work on yourself, you start to find yourself and define who you are, and you start taking those actions. You don't compare yourself to other people. If you're comparing yourself to other people, you're setting yourself up for failure for a lot of reasons. One, that person that you're comparing yourself to, you don't know their journey, you don't know what got them there most of the time, and you don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You just see what they allow you to see or what they tell you. And so that's not even realistic. Number two, if you're trying to be like someone else in that area, it's not going to be your success because it's not you. And that's where people fail, is because they're trying to mimic what other people have done for their success, but on their own. And it doesn't work that way. You have to individualize it. You have to be authentically you. And I'm telling you, there's a power to that. When you accept who you are and you're living your authentic self and you're not worried or competing against anyone else except yourself to be better every day, there's power to that. Other people see that. Other people can feel that energy, you know, and they'll support it.
Most definitely. And I'm just going to say this: figuring out who you are is not easy. It really isn't. You discover in that state, I'm like, I don't even like that. Why the hell am I doing that? You're going to find things that you've been doing that you don't even enjoy. And you're going to rediscover and say, I really enjoy this. I think it's been within the last several years. I'm like, I really enjoy kayaking. And why? I enjoy it because it gives me peace. It's my peaceful place. It's the water. So I've learned so much about myself. But that all goes back to taking those mindful moments that we talk about. And it also goes to replenishing. How are you replenishing your energy? It's normal, guys. It's normal to have levels of anxiety. It's normal to get overwhelmed when you're like working off of a to-do list and you're just like, how am I going to get to this all day? It's normal to experience anxiety, but it's also imperative that you recognize, I need to take a break. It's not going to kill you to take a 5-minute break and step away from where you are. I always say change the scenery immediately. When you start feeling anxiety pop, change the scenery. I don't care if you get in the car, go get a coffee, if you go for a walk around the yard. Do what you got to do and do it barefoot and hug a tree while you're at it. We talked about that yesterday briefly. Hug a tree, ground yourself. But the minute you change where you are, your mindset changes because there's other distractions. I know our friend Frizz, he has his squirrels, his friends, they're going to change your mind because you're going to focus on what the heck they're doing, or the birds or whatever the heck it is. And if you have animals, forget it. They're amazing for changing the vibe.
They certainly are. And like you mentioned, that looks different for everybody. And you found your way, being by the water. Um, I know I've traveled across the nation. I've stayed a lot of places and I've talked to a lot of folks. And that's one of the questions that I like to ask when I meet new people is, what kind of, if you could live anywhere, what does that scenery look like? There's a lot of people that want to live off the ocean. There's a lot of people that want to live in the mountains or on a golf course or by a river. And I think that's a good question to start with yourself. Do a little bit of that introspection, that self reflection, and be like, okay, if I could put myself anywhere and surround myself by the things that would bring me peace and love, what does that really look like? Do I even know? And do that throughout the course of your entire day. That means, doing the things that you're passionate about, being around the people that you like, talking to the people you like. What does that look like? And you can really start to develop that like a plan and say, okay, well, I know what these things, this is what I need to do to attain happiness here, whether that's your job, your house, where you live. And a lot of times it starts off with that honesty, that introspection, and then you have to take action to make it happen. And all too times I hear people that'll say, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. But they're doing the same stuff every day. Like they might have a great faith that that's going to happen, but it's very unlikely that you're going to attain it without putting forth any work. It's very, very rare that somebody will come along externally and give you the things that you desire. And if they do, it probably isn't even meant to be a lot of the time. I've learned in life that you can lose things just as fast as you can attain them. And if you don't stay so attached to things, if you work and earn the very simply, there's just something to that. And I know we had Wolfpack, we the Wolfpack came into your live last night and kind of talked about that a little bit. And our brother Rob Hanks in the chat here has talked about that and lived that life. And when things are simpler, when there's less distractions, you really focus on living life. And when you, like I say this all the time, but when you have to work to stay alive, when you have to gather your water, when you have to be very aware of the weather, your surroundings, I think that you have a greater appreciation and more gratefulness for life and the simple things. And like you had mentioned, we went off grid for a while and overlanded in Pennsylvania, and we didn't have cell service. So there wasn't a lot of distraction. There wasn't a lot of people there. But when we did, like if we would see a floater, the floaters go by, that was a highlight. That was exciting. That was a bit of a dopamine release. And it was more natural and comforting because we found the things that we like. We like the water. We like being out in nature. We like living the simple life. Not everyone does, and not everyone can. But what they can do is find that life that they love, and maybe they're in it. Maybe they just need a change of scenery to clean it up a little bit. Maybe they just need to make it their own and surround themselves with things that they love that are genuinely authentic to them.
Thank you for that, Chief. I'm going to do a quick interlude here. It is halfway through our Cawfee Talk. If you're just joining us, welcome to episode 10 with Sunny and Chief every Saturday morning. Please keep tapping that screen. We do try to get to 22K, but we also want to try to get us to the FYP page, which allows others to come in and join us. So keep tapping, keep sharing it. I truly appreciate that. And now I'll go back, which is simplicity. Absolutely. I think one of the highlights that we had many highlights in when we were really just out there with not very much, was watching the dogs play in the water. That was entertainment. I think I actually said that. I'm like, they're entertaining us. They were hilarious. The way they played in the water. It's the simplicity of not needing all these external things, which to me is kind of like just toxic. It's not everything that's feeding us. We're absorbing it all, right? So when you can do that, fantastic. And I know this isn't for everyone, and not everybody can do just first camping, but make time. Get in the car. Take your significant other, take your kids and say, hey, let's go see one of the national parks. Pick up a hobby, whether it's to go hiking or just go picnic, kayaking, fishing, whatever it is, it really is therapeutic. I love nature personally, but I also love the water. It could be the ocean, it could be the lake, it could be a river. It doesn't matter. I don't care. There's water. I'm happy. But I also appreciate the mountains. There's something to be said about the mountains as well.
Certainly. I know my father got up there in ages. He wasn't able to get out and about and explore, which I don't ever remember him actually ever doing. We never went on vacations as a family or anything like that. When my dad would take a vacation, he would rub baby oil all over his body, break out the cassette player, and lay out in the sun and just get super dark. So he wasn't like that. But I do remember later in life, his real happy place was his front porch. And I didn't understand it at first until I went and hung out with him on his front porch. But he watched the traffic go by. He watched the neighbors. He watched the school bus. And then people would stop by. They would see him out on his enclosed porch, and they'd stop by, and they'd have a safety meeting with him. But he knew so much from just sitting right there. Like, he was happy. He was comfortable, but he had so much fun there. And then people would come by, and they would socialize, and they would talk about what's going on. And I thought that was hilarious, that was his heaven, was on a front porch in a little bitty town called Shelbina, Missouri.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that. I think of my dad and what he might possibly be doing right now. As you guys know, my parents live in Portugal. That's one of the things my dad does. He doesn't take safety meetings, but he does have his chair. And I know I'm going to find him always with his little radio. And he sits there and he honestly is either whistling or he's listening to the radio or a soccer game. It's very European. And he's just watching the mountains. He's listening to the birds. He's watching the fruit trees. I mean, this is what he does. And I know he finds his peace there. And he walks every single day, sometimes twice a day, in the mountains. So that's his peace. And I know this because I see this in him, all by himself. And I never understood that as a child. I'm like, how are you, like, aren't you bored? You're just sitting here. Or I would say to him, like, Dad, let's go somewhere. He's like, nope, I'm good. And I never understood that. Now I understand that. Like, I find such peace going for a walk by myself. I find such peace getting in the kayak by myself because I need that. And that's what I mean by you got to shut it down. You got to get in sync. That's where you do your thinking. I think the best thinking is when you have no distractions, personally.
And I think that's a practice to have every day. I think that every day you should do that self reflection, that introspection, meditation. I don't care what you want to call it. Words. We have too many words. Take action, stop using words. But I think that if you make that little bit of time for yourself every day, that's just a few minutes of self improvement. You can work through those things of what do I need to change? Just ask yourself, and you'll tell yourself if you just take that time for you every day. And then maybe work through that and don't think. Like I've practiced for many, many years to not think. And my mind goes crazy. There's like a 10,000 thoughts a minute in there, and it's all
Yeah.
crazy shit. And I know that. But I did find ways, with practicing to kind of calm that down and understand what it is and realize that all of that stuff in there is just, it's a sense of humor, to be honest with you. I
Hmm.
don't have to go with any of it. But when you sit down and you think, like, what can I do to improve myself? What can I do? What can I lean into? What vulnerability can I expose to show growth? And you'll know, and then you can use that to take action because then it gives you steps, like your thoughts, your crazy thoughts. You can start to guide and focus the direction you want to go, which is ultimately probably happiness, whatever that looks like for you.
Right. You know, I was going to say something about this first camping, and one of the things you realize when you're out there, guys, is that you're not thinking about all that other stuff. Like if you were sitting on the couch or sitting in your chair, you're so focused on the peace, the tranquility, the sounds, the noise, what you're feeling. Are you hot? Are you cold? Do I need to gather firewood? Oh, it's almost time to eat. Oh, the sun is coming down. Your mind is in such a different place. And that's the simplicity and the relaxation that we talk about. It's like, everything else, politics, you don't even, it doesn't even enter your mind. You're just solely focused on the experience and where you are. If I'm out kayaking, I'm looking at the sun. I'm like, oh, there's a storm rolling in. It's just what a peaceful distraction, whether it's hiking, like I said, whether it's hiking, kayaking, fishing, do something for you, because it definitely does it fuels you.
Well, it's like I tell my kids, do something for you that adds value. I don't feel like sitting and watching TV, movies. Sometimes it's a good distraction to get away, but when it's every day, all day, you're not doing anything for you. You're just kind of relaxing and escaping. If anything, find something to clean, find something to improve, work on, or learn, read a book, listen to an audiobook. I did years of self improvement books before I realized you can listen to every book in the world and it doesn't matter until you start taking action on it. And that looks different. There's not a book written for you. You write that damn book. And a lot of the I guess a lot of what has helped me realize that is just taking that time for myself every day, irregardless of what's going on, even if it's late, shit happens. Kids' events last long, then they stay up late and you're talking to them. And it's like, damn, I'm like 2 hours late for bed. I still will take 10 minutes or whatever to reflect on my day or do my introspection. Sometimes I fall right to sleep, but sometimes I realize something that I can improve on, and then I'll take action on it because I have to be honest with myself. And I want to teach my children different than I was taught. I think that, as parents, we do the best that we know how to do. But if you stop and you think about, the traumas that you have from life, from your family, from your grandparents, even from the military, for a lot of us, right? We're just trained to do and not feel. Definitely don't communicate that feel. But we don't want to push that onto our kids. And you sent a video about that the other. It was amazing
Yeah.
about the cups of water, and
Mhm.
you can change that, but it takes so much practice, consistent practice. And it's so hard as a parent, even because I feel pretty consistent as a dad. I feel like I tell you every day to do the dishes. You would think that this practice for all your life would made you good at it by now. But I'm learning, it's more about the approach and how I demonstrate and how I communicate that with them to make a change.
Yeah. Well, interesting about that video. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go check it out. The generational curses. And I watched that a few times and I actually showed it to my daughter because I felt like, I don't know, I just felt like I needed to show it to her because I wanted her to kind of gain understanding. Like, do you understand that we're not perfect as parents? Do you understand why mommy's making changes? I want you to listen to this. So I could be mad at my parents for specific things that, were my childhood traumas. And my mom's mad at her parents for the traumas they had. And it just keeps going and going and going. And after watching that, the personal accountability, like my own personal responsibility at this point, at this stage, my children are no longer little tiny ones. So I literally looked at my daughter like, I wish I had done things differently. But that doesn't mean I can't start now. And one of the things I said to her is, I can't go back to when your brother, who's 27, 28, I think he's 28. Memory goes too, guys, with age. But I can't go back. What I can do is keep moving forward, and I can demonstrate, and hopefully, they can see that change and see how I'm leading in love and leading the way, that hopefully they'll pick up on some of these new things. And for some of us, it is kind of too late, like it's done. But you have grandkids or you have neighbor, whatever it is. I always feel that you're never done. You're just never done in the self-growth, self-healing journey until the very end, and it's important. It's important for us, most definitely. Mental health is like the leading force to everything. I said this week, this right here is what controls every decision you make. Every feeling you have is coming from here. And is it being driven by fear, which is usually the case? Fear leads our decisions, which is why it's so important to do the self-work. If you do the self-work, you can rediscover yourself, figure out who are you and where do you want to go? Where do you see yourself? And it shouldn't look like anybody else. It really should be your individual journey. Like if I were picking out books in the library, I would say, oh my gosh, that's 420 Chief, because he's so different. Or that's Sunnyside, she's so different. We have the Pledge guy, he's so different. These are those individualities. That's truly what makes you authentic. And even our children, like I wouldn't want my daughter to say, or my three of them, to say, well, mom is doing what so-and-so is doing. They know what mom's doing is really, truly unique. Just yesterday, I had an interaction, Chief. I was at the bank and I was explaining the Sunny Side of Freedom, uniting veterans across the nation. And they were just like, there's a guy in town who's doing something for veterans, she said, but she couldn't tell me what it was. But I will tell you this, when I left, they know exactly what I'm doing. And the one thing they both said, this is amazing. This is so different. That's what I'm referring to. Find whatever it is for you and why is it different? And how are people going to, resonate, relate, support? I don't know. What are your thoughts, Chief?
Well, like I always say, if you're going to do it, go all in, be authentic, be honest. And those close to you may not understand, but somebody on TikTok's going to get it and you're going to find your tribe. And I'm being silly when I say that because I have actually met so many people in real life on
Yeah.
TikTok. And I remember when I first started on this application, I was like, it's like, it's like a bunch of keyboard warriors or whatever. Nobody's real. And then I started to meet people and made it a point. Like I wanted people to know I'm not on here just talking all this or that. Like I'm a real person. Like I'll show up. Scooter knows that. You know that. Rich knows that. Rob knows that. And I'm starting to find more and more of those. And my algorithm's different. Like I hear there's all this shit on TikTok, but I don't look at it, or, and so I see like a lot of the same people, very familiar, but it's positive. It's very positive. And I think that my point is from when I started on here, I didn't feel like anything was real. Like the people weren't real. And I found that there are, real people on here that see me for who I am, not who they think I am.
Hmm.
like the people that we're raised with, even our family is a big one, and it's okay. It's okay. I actually saw my cousin posted on Facebook the other day for like $8 million. Would you sell your family? And her response was, "Line them effers up." And I was like, "I'm not mad at you, Heather. I don't talk to you either. You'd be gone too if the roles were reversed." But I've met people on here that I wouldn't sell for $8 million. You, my boy, Rich.
Thanks, Chief. Left me hanging there. It's all right. You're my boy, Rich, and Rob, and Scooter, all of you guys that are here. Well, we do have 20 minutes left in this live. I need to get us to 22K. Keep those fingers of fury. Get us to 22K. Always bringing awareness, right? As you can see, break stigmas. This is something that I see all of you hashtagging as well. And of course, we have our break stigmas flag on the back, which is always bringing attention to ending 22 a day, Veteran Lives Matter, bridging the gap, what that looks like. Oh my goodness, plant medicine, PTSD awareness. So this is something I focus on a daily, this is how we reach out to others. And it honestly sets the stage for, yes, we can talk about this, we can talk about all of this, and it's okay. And it's bringing awareness into our communities. So we do always bring it to 22K every time we're live. So get those fingers of fury, get them going. But you know what time it is, right, Chief? You know what time it is, right, Chief? Guys,
Unfortunately, I think I do.
I know you do, and I have a treat today. So I hope you guys are all ready, because I'm about to do something, and this is going to go back to how we started this live and how we started this topic. So bear with me for half a second while I start this music up. I hope you all enjoy it a lot. I'm going to take my earbuds out for a second. Get your vibe on, folks. Get your vibe on. Chief, get those arms going.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on. Off from my city, off from my home. We're flying up, no ceiling when we in our zone. I got that sunshine in my pocket, got that good soul in my feet. I feel that hot blood in my body.
Is that feathers?
Drops. Ooh, I can't take my eyes off it. Moving so phenomenally. You won't like the way we rock it, so don't stop. It's under the lights when everything
It looks even better now.
nowhere to hide when I'm getting you close. When we move, well, you
I'm digging that hair.
All right. Just imagine. Let's go, guys. Last vibe in.
nothing I can see but you when you dance. Feel good creeping up on you, so just dance. Come on. All those things.
All right. Well, I hope you all felt that. I really do hope you all felt that. So I have to hear you laughing, Chief. You got to unmute.
I broke a sweat. Woo. Doing the Carlton.
You still feeling it?
Oh, wait. Nope. I'm good.
Hold on
I
a
got it.
second.
Got it all out.
I apologize. All right, so that was a little bit of a disruption. Really changed the vibe. Going back to how we started this live today, which is step outside your comfort zone. If you asked me a year ago to put on a wig and get on a live on social media, knowing that this can get out there, potentially my bosses can see this in corporate, I'd be like, you're out of your mind. You can't pay me enough. And here I am. Don't care. Get outside your comfort zone. Do the things that make you smile. Honestly, leading in love, leading the way, be the difference you want to see in others. Obviously, I like to smile. I love to make sure you all smile. So yes, that was to make you guys smile. I know you smiled. You weren't expecting that, but just to do a little recap to where we started.
I was expecting it.
You were?
we were all expecting that song.
Oh, well, the song, yes, but you weren't expecting me to put on a wig. That's my point.
Oh, that was a wig?
What'd you think it was?
I'm not even going to say.
What did you think it was?
It kind of looked like feathers.
No, it's
Yeah.
it's kind of like a trolley wig.
It looked like an Indian chief hat.
No, it's a wig, guys. But they had all these colors, and I said I can't go with yellow. Although Sunnyside, hello, as my daughter says, she's so patriotic. Your daughter says that too. So I had to go with the red, white, and blue, guys. I had to pull it out. I may put a flower in it or something, but either way, look, here I am again on a live looking this silly. But I hope it made your day, and I hope it demonstrated what it is that I'm talking about. Do those things. Be your goofy self. Who cares who just scrolled by the live and said, well, she's an idiot, or she's this, or who cares? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Their opinions do not matter. And too often, we care so much about what people have to say that we're doing ourselves wrong, because we're not truly living in our true self, our true happiness, the things that make us happy, which also goes back to last night, Chief. We had a conversation with Wolfpack, our friend. I don't see him in here today, but he was making reference to the fact that matching energy, and what that energy looks like. Matching energy isn't always positive. That's why our hashtag is match my energy. Well, what's my energy? Is it negative? Is it positive? And you need to be able to decipher what that looks like for you.
Yes, very much so. And I actually saw in the comments, some folks were talking about this earlier, and that's being aware of the energy that you're putting off too. And one of the stigmas, there's a lot of stigmas behind like PTSD. And I think for me, it doesn't matter what you call it. It's be aware of your response. And if you don't feel like you can control your response, like your whatever, walk away. Like, rather than scream at my kids and cuss and dress them down completely, I would rather walk outside and fight the punching bag, have a safety meeting, listen to some music, anything. But you have to be aware of that. You have to accept that and know that. We can't walk around in this life. I had to talk with my 20-year-old son because sometimes he gets very angry. And he said that he feels like everyone should just know. They should know when and when not to approach him. I'm like, you're really throwing a lot onto people. Like, that means you have to expect that of everyone. It's no different than that. Don't walk around expecting other people to understand. They're not. They're not. But what you can do is control how you react and how you respond and what you're demonstrating. And what that looks like is that energy that you're putting out. So if you're out there gossiping, talking about other people, being negative, and that's what you're showing, that is a demonstration of your energy. And nobody likes it when somebody calls and just dumps on them. Like, you could be having a great day. You take this call because we love being there for people. We love listening to people. We love helping them. And then they dump. And that's a negative energy. And it really, a lot of times, can really bring you down. If you're surrounding yourself with that all of the time, you're going to need to cut some of that out. You're going to need to. Like, you can't just be there for all of this. You've got to take care of you. You've got to still be able to demonstrate that positive energy. You still got to be able to get that smile on. What makes you do that? Who makes you do that? Surround yourself with more of that. But more importantly, be that. Like, you're not going to walk into these groups of people that are just smiling and friendly and happy and honest and positive if you're not. You have to be, not only, you have to demonstrate it to be a part of that. That it's that energy, that vibration, that frequency, that tribe, that family, whatever, words again, whatever you are, and you're showing people that, that's what you're going to attract. And when you're honest about that with yourself, then you see that also in other people. You see what they're demonstrating to you, and then you can make a good judgment on what category do I put you in. Do I put you in a tribe? Do I put you in cut off? Do I put you in low doses? You see it. You are honest about it with yourself.
Absolutely. I think actually at the beginning of the week, one of the messages I had on my plank video was, do you see it? Do you feel it? It's a feeling. You can see a lot of things, guys, but it's when you feel it. And I shared this with our friend Frizz yesterday. I think he had to leave for a few minutes, but I felt it. His smile. You can feel someone's energy even across the screen. You could see the change, and we often make reference to that. Do you see the change? Do you see the personal growth? You could see when someone's putting work into their every single day to improve their mental health.
You can see if I'm an off day. We have our good friend Rob Hanks here, big bro. He always knows my vibe, guys, just by my plank video. He'll send me a message, and that's right, Rob, he will. He'll be like, "What's the matter? Talk to me, Strudel." I'm like, "What do you mean, what's the matter?" He's like, "I saw your nose." I'm like, "What?" It scrunches a certain way. I don't know. But at the end of the day, the more time we do spend with people, we do pick up on those things. So make sure that, you're always working extra hard for you before you start working extra hard for somebody else. You have to make sure you're good. Keep that cup filled as much as you can. And I saw your comment there, Sourpuss. You're so right. If you're going to reach out to someone and this is about to, like, maybe they were in an amazing mood and they were at a 10, you're going to bring them down to like a 5. Can you warn them? Just be like, "Hey, I need to prepare chief, prepare the people you talk to, your children. Hey, we're about to have like a deep conversation. I really need a friend." Just let them know, so they can refill, like they know they have to fill their cup. The hardest is when you get on a call and you're excited, like let's say it's my BFF, and then all of a sudden she just dumped on me, and I'm like, "Well, I wasn't ready for that. You just like kind of blew my high," and I mean my energy high, right? It could be different for you. Just blew my high. But yeah, have that courtesy and let people know, "Hey guys, or whatever, I really need a friend to talk to." So you can mentally prepare and say, "All right, my friend needs some help. So I'm going to mentally prepare myself for that conversation."
And another part of that really is to know who to share what with. There's certain people that maybe you shouldn't even share good news with because they can dump
Mhm.
on that. But especially when it's bad, like I wouldn't take like a problem that I need advice from someone who has never been through or done what I need a solution for. I would go to someone who's overcome that or is a subject matter expert
Yeah.
or something, or someone who's a good that I know can work with me to get to a point because I can figure things out. Like I made it this far in life and I started fixing stuff on my own in every way. Like even diesel trucks have a Cummins. You drive it, it's going to break down. Love it. But I had to learn how to do it. But what I learned along the way is I'm teachable. I can learn how to do shit. I may not be smart, I may not have good words, but I can learn stuff. And I think that when we figure out like all these experiences, what we've learned, what we like, we start to become that person, that we want to be, that is our highest self, that we are happiest with, to where we are radiating that energy, sharing that smile. People feel that love and they can see it and it's consistent. And I think that
Mhm.
when it's consistent with people, that's when you start to see how authentic it really is, right? Because they demonstrate it and a lot of times in multiple ways, but consistently when they do that, you see that. And so I don't know. I'm gonna have to let you tie that back
That's okay.
into.
The consistency definitely plays a role. I know I'm going to keep making reference to him because he offered so much feedback. And he said, there's a lot of creators on this app. There are, and there's a lot of creators doing wonderful things. There's a lot of creators that are focused on supporting our veteran community. But one of the things that I took away from that, he said, "No one else is doing it like you." And yes, that's my individuality. I know when I started this platform, some did not like it because I'm structured. That's my structure. I know when I first met Scooter, one of the very first things he said to me, "I love the way you run your lives. It's not chaotic. People aren't talking over each other. There's no yelling. There's no screaming and debating." I said, "No, we have enough of that out there in the world. I don't need to do this. This is my time. I do take my time, and it's like I'm giving of my time, that I have better ways to spend my time than do just that." But it's that individuality, which is going to tie us to where we started. Step outside your comfort zone. Take time for yourself. Rediscover who you are, your true, authentic self. Honestly, it's okay to take bits and pieces from everywhere you go and say, I never thought of that. I never thought to go for a hike. So now you enjoy hiking, but your passion truly is maybe music or fishing or whatever it is. I mean, Sunny does her plank. That's my thing. That's not to say there aren't creators who aren't planking. I'm sure they are. They're planking, they're doing a full workout. But Sunny, this is something I started where I'm like, I want to plank and put out a message. That was that mindful moment for yourself. How do you start your day? And if it's not in the morning, do you end your day that way? Do you reflect? Do you replenish? It's all working together for your better mental health. So honestly, I just wanted to say thank you, Chief, and thank you to all of you because you did get us to 22, which also brings us to, don't forget to buy your raffle tickets, $2.22, Venmo Cash App, which is going to support our upcoming raffle September 22nd, which is going towards our meetup in October for Uniting Veterans across the nation. If you are a veteran in here today and are interested or want to know more about the meetup or possibly even participate, let me know. DM me, ask me questions. That's what we're here for. I'm super excited about it. I'm looking forward to the smaffle as TikTok likes to see it. We have some cool prizes, items that were donated. So I'm looking forward to it. As always, guys, thank you for being here, for showing up for yourselves, for showing up to each other, and send us a DM. I haven't heard much feedback from any of you in reference to topics that you'd like us to cover. Take some time for yourself this weekend and then come back and say, you know what, Sunny or Chief, I listened to you guys on Cawfee Talk. This resonated. And what is it? What is that topic? Or is there something you'd like us to maybe explore? You don't have to say who you are. We don't have to say who you are. But if you said, you know what, I'm struggling with self-control, we could make that a topic for all of you. And together in the room, we can actually tap into that and have everyone else's perspective. And you may walk away with some suggestions. At the end of the day, we're not the authors of your life. You are. You know what I mean? You're writing your story on a daily basis. And it's never too late to say, I'm done with this damn chapter and I'm starting anew. Any day is a good day to start afresh. So just always remember that. Be good to yourselves. Lead in love. Lead the way for others. It truly does make a difference. Every time I see all of you smile, and yes, this is the smile, it makes us smile, genuinely makes us smile to see you growing and glowing. You're literally sharing that love. We feel it, and it's spreading like wildfire on this app. I will tell you that. I had no time this morning to really tag people in my video because I had to go. And I think that's the hardest when we're making videos is all of the edits. But just watching all the duets and seeing how you're tagging your friends and reaching others, it's really impressive. So keep being amazing. Always stay sunny, stay spicy, make it count, and be the amazing human beings we know you to be on a daily. Be good to yourselves. I'm going to close this out with some music. Check out our websites, 420 Chief and Sunny Side of Freedom. We have websites, guys. We also have our YouTube channel, Sunny Side of Freedom, 420 Chief. Send us a follow. Interact with us. Cawfee Talk episode number 10 will be uploaded there, hopefully by the end of today, if not by the weekend. For anyone that missed it or came in halfway, mindfulness and more. Yes, nice to see you, Raptor. And just so you guys know, we see you're in here. We don't really interact too much with the comments because it kind of interrupts the dialogue. So we do see you. You'll see me put up the smiley ball. I'll say
Read
this
them.
or, yeah, but I try not to really talk to the comments too much, only because it gets us off topic. But just know that we see you, we appreciate you in here, and the love and respect that you give each other. So with that being said, I'm going to close us out with a little, what are we closing us out with, Chief? Our intro.
Badass. Little Stranger. I
That's
gotta
right.
get you a different version though.
Okay. Anytime.
Thank you all. I love having
Yes.
everybody in here. This is like my favorite. This is my favorite.
And thank you for joining us. I know it was a new time today because Sunny had an appointment, but thank you for being here, truly. And I hope you find your vibe this weekend. Listen to some good music. Stay away from the depressing stuff. You're entitled one depressing song like once a week. That's it.
Which you can hear tonight, actually. Rob
Oh,
and I are
that's right.
doing the campfire. I'm not going to play any depressing music, but I do have a different playlist for tonight. If you want to come in and do a
Awesome.
little music fire therapy.
I would love to do that. If it doesn't rain, I may make a killer fire tonight, guys. Just saying. I may just do a killer fire, and I have some magic flames that I'd love to throw in there. So we can definitely do that. Fill the boxes up with some of that. Yep. So I hope to see you guys all tonight. Fire and tunes, absolutely.